chat about some big news that just went down. Cris Carter, a famous football guy, might have messed up big time by picking on a new player. And wow, people are not happy about it. Fans in Cleveland, sports experts, and even some players are talking about Carter's bold words about Shedeur Sanders. His hot take might end up looking as bad as old milk in the sun. You've probably seen the video already. Cris Carter was on TV talking loud, acting like Shedeur Sanders starting as quarterback for the Cleveland Browns was a crazy idea. Carter didn't just say Shedeur wasn't good enough, he went all out. He called him unproven, said he's not ready, questioned his smarts, his skills, and even said the media only likes him because of his famous dad. But here's the thing Carter didn't expect. Shedeur Sanders isn't just Deion Sanders' son. He's been working hard, quietly, letting his game speak for itself. And now, people are starting to notice. While Carter was saying guys like Dillon Gabriel or Kenny Pickett should play instead, Shedeur was getting first-team practice time. If you love the real story and all the juicy details they don't show on TV, hit that subscribe button. And if you're excited to see how this quarterback drama unfolds, you definitely need to subscribe. Shedeur was working harder, playing smarter, and honestly, doing better than others in practice and minicamps. Even big-time reporters like Mary Kay Cabot are starting to change their minds. You know something big is happening when that happens. Let's rewind a bit. When Shedeur Sanders was picked in the 5th round of the draft, everyone thought he'd just sit on the bench for a year or two. But right away, there was a buzz. The kind of quiet talk inside the team that says, hey, this kid might be really good. First, there were notes from rookie camp. He was calm, in control, and leading the huddle. Then came OTAs. His throws had zip. He made smart choices and didn't mess up. Then minicamp came and he showed leadership and got more first-team practice time. But even with all that, Carter was on TV rolling his eyes. You think Shedeur Sanders is starting over Kenny Pickett or Dillon Gabriel, he said? Well, yeah, that's exactly what people are starting to think. Carter forgot that being an NFL quarterback isn't just about experience or being a big name. It's about staying calm, making the most of every chance, and proving yourself. And Shedeur, he's doing just that. Now, let's talk about the big thing everyone's thinking about, his name. Being Deion Sanders' son comes with a lot of pressure. People expect a lot, compare him to his dad, and watch his every move. There might even be extra cameras at practice because of him. But that also means he has to prove he's not just famous because of his dad. Shedeur doesn't run from that. He faces it head. He shows up early, stays late, talks to reporters like he's been in the NFL forever. He treats every practice like it's the Super Bowl. That's why the team and coaches are starting to trust him. Coach Kevin Stefanski isn't giving him first-team practice just for show. It's because Shedeur fits the team's plan better than anyone else. While Kenny Pickett is still figuring things out, and Dillon Gabriel's decisions are slower than expected, Shedeur is shining. He makes quick choices, throws well, and stays calm in the pocket. It's not super flashy, but it's super professional. And that's where Carter got it wrong. He was so focused on draft picks and news headlines that he didn't watch Shedeur's actual games. He didn't see how much Shedeur has grown or how hard he's worked. The way Shedeur has gone from a rookie project to a real starter. Now Carter's words sound less like fair criticism and more like he's just mad. Here's the real deal. Shedeur didn't show up thinking he deserved to start. He earned his spot in the conversation, not because of his famous dad or media hype, but because he keeps proving people wrong every single day. Even Mary Kay, a top Browns reporter, had to admit it. At first, she thought Shedeur would take years to be ready, but by mid-June, she changed her mind. She saw his footwork, his ability to read the game, his accuracy under pressure, and most importantly, his leadership. You can't fake that in the NFL, and Shedeur has it. Don't forget the situation the Browns are in. Their quarterback spot is a total mess. Deshaun Watson is still a big question mark. Kenny Pickett hasn't been consistent. Dillon Gabriel needs more time to develop. And suddenly, the most reliable guy might just be the rookie. That's the part Carter didn't want to hear. Because if Shedeur is ready, it shakes everything up. It means a fifth-round pick might be better than guys with huge contracts and years in the NFL. It means fancy backgrounds and experience might not matter as much as being ready and working hard. Sure, it's okay to question a player, but there's a difference between fair doubts and just being rude. Carter chose to be rude, and now he's getting called out. Every time Shedeur throws a perfect pass or leads a good drive, the story changes a bit more, and Carter's looking more and more out of touch. This isn't about a kid chasing attention. Shedeur isn't making headlines with drama or loud quotes. He's earning them with perfect throws, staying calm, and quiet confidence. In a league that loves underdog stories, this one's starting to feel like a big one. There's also a bigger lesson here about how the NFL sometimes judges young, confident black quarterbacks. Guys like Shedeur get called arrogant for things others would get praised for. That double standard is super clear in this debate. When Shedeur calmly says he's here to compete, people call him cocky. But when another rookie says the same thing, they're called a leader. That doesn't make sense. At some point, we have to wonder why people like Carter are so quick to tear down a young black quarterback before he even plays a game. Is it about protecting the old ways? Is it ego? Is it fear that the game is changing? Because the game is changing, and guys like Shedeur are leading the way. Whether he starts the first game or not, one thing's clear. He's already earned the respect of his teammates, the trust of his coaches, and the attention of the NFL. For a fifth-round rookie, that's a big deal. So Cris Carter had his big TV moment, but he might need to get ready for a follow-up. If Shedeur gets the start and does well, Carter's gonna feel that regret hard. And the best part? Shedeur won't say a thing. He won't call out Carter or post anything shady. He'll just put on his cleats, step on the field, and keep proving people wrong, one throw at a time. So what do you think? Is Shedeur Sanders the Browns' future quarterback? Or is all this excitement too much? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because this quarterback drama is just getting started. But here's where things get even wilder, and why Cris Carter isn't ready for what's coming. This isn't just about football anymore. It's about control, legacy, and who gets to decide when a young quarterback is ready. Maybe this whole drama isn't even about Shedeur's arm, footwork, or calmness in the pocket. Maybe it's about power. For years, the Cleveland Browns have been a mess at quarterback, with the team and even the owners. Every season feels like they're starting over. One year, it's Baker Mayfield, then Deshaun Watson, with a ton of problems and a huge contra. Now it's Kenny Pickett trying to prove himself after Pittsburgh gave up on him. Dillon Gabriel, another rookie, was supposed to be the long-term plan. And then comes Shedeur, unexpected, unbothered, and honestly, pretty undeniable. The Browns didn't draft him to start right away. They didn't expect all this attention, but now he's making it really hard to keep him on the bench. This shakes everything up. When a fifth-round pick climbs the depth chart this fast, it messes with the team's money, the locker room order, and what the media expects. It especially messes with people like Carter, who thought Shedeur would just sit on the bench all season. You could hear how annoyed Carter was when he said, "Let's stop acting like Shedeur Sanders is the answer in Cleveland." He's not. He sounded so sure, almost mean, like he was done with the whole idea. But the Browns coaches are telling a different story. People close to the team say the quarterback practice reps are getting tricky. Snaps that used to go to Pickett are now being shared. The talk about Gabriel being the future has quieted down. And every week, Shedeur gets more comfortable in the team system. He knows how to protect himself, hits his targets, and doesn't lose the ball. That's not just talk. That's what you see on film. That's the stuff that makes coaches take notice and gets you a shot when the time comes. And the coolest part, Shedeur hasn't said a word back to his critics. No tweets, no shady interviews, no sneaky Instagram posts. Just focus, practice, and getting better. Compare that to the mess Carter caused with one TV segment. That difference, loud critics versus quiet hard work, is why so many people are switching sides in this debate. It's fine to question a rookie, that's normal. But when you make it personal or act like they're not good enough because of their family, you're showing more about yourself than the player. Carter called Shedeur arrogant and spoiled, like he's only here because of his dad's fame. But that sounds like Carter's just guessing. If you actually listen to Shedeur's interviews or watch how he acts, he doesn't seem entitled. He seems ready, humble, and confident, but not in a bad way. He says things like, "I just want to compete," or "I'm thankful for the chance." That's normal rookie talk, but it feels different when people want to paint him as a show-off. And let's be real, his background plays a role in how people react. A young black quarterback with a social media presence, cool watches, a famous dad, and a lot of confidence? To some old-school NFL folks, that feels like a challenge to how things used to be. They want quiet, hard-working players who wait their turn and never step out of line. And here's Shedeur, calm, put together, media-savvy, and totally okay with ignoring their rules. He doesn't shy away from attention. He owns it. That should be a good thing, but some twist it into arrogance. So when Shedeur earns first-team practice time, critics call it hype. When he speaks with confidence, they call it entitlement. When he works harder and stays later than other rookies, they say it's just because he has something to prove. Like that's a bad thing. But here's the big twist. Shedeur is using all this noise, not to fight back or get mad, but to push himself. Players on the Browns say privately that he's always focused, never distracted. While the cameras follow Deshaun Watson and the media pushes Kenny Pickett as the safe choice, Shedeur keeps working his way into the conversation. One perfect pass at a time. Want to talk about leadership? Ask the receivers who trust him to throw the ball fast. Ask the offensive line who like how calm he stays in the pocket. Ask the defensive backs who say he's one of the smartest young quarterbacks they've faced. That's not hype, that's respect. And respect doesn't come from social media or a famous dad. It comes from hard work and proving it. That's exactly what Carter used to tell young players. Keep your head down and earn it. Funny how that advice changes when the player doesn't fit what you expect. Let's not forget, Shedeur wasn't supposed to be this good, this fast. He was supposed to stay low on the depth chart, a project for the future, maybe a backup plan. But with every practice, every clean play, every little tweak he makes, he's showing he might be way better than anyone thought. That's what bugs people like Carter. If Shedeur becomes the starter and does well, it won't just mean Carter was wrong. It'll mean the whole way we think about NFL drafts, famous players, kids, and media stories might need a stage. What if the bold kid with the famous dad is actually ready? What if the fifth-round pick becomes the face of the team? What if the guy they said wasn't even close ends up winning the job? At that point, Carter's loud criticism will be drowned out by silence. Because fans love a comeback story. But a big apology from a former NFL star turned TV guy? That's super rare. Carter better start preparing his notes, because the apology might be coming. Shedeur didn't ask for all this attention. He just didn't back down when it came. And now, with the Browns' quarterback spot wide open, the job might go to the guy who was doubted the most, said the least, and worked the hardest. It's almost like a movie. While the media talks about who's NFL ready, Shedeur is out there living it. And the critics? They're scrambling to catch up. So if you're following this drama, whether you're cheering for Shedeur, Carter, or just love the chaos, one thing's for sure, this story is nowhere near done. And the ending might just belong to the kid they said wasn't even close. Stay tuned. And yeah, someone get Cris Carter a towel. This is just getting heated. The craziest part? All this buzz Every practice clip, every quote has happened before Shedeur Sanders even played a real NFL game. That's how big his potential is. That's the pressure of being so promising. But honestly, this isn't just about Shedeur anymore. It's about what he stands for. Right now, the Cleveland Browns are stuck in a mess they made themselves. For years, they've jumped from one quarterback to another, like a kid flipping through video games, hoping to find the one. They've tried everything: top draft picks, older players, risky trades, and big contracts with tons of drama. And none of it has worked. Enter Shedeur, a rookie, a fifth-round pick, and the only quarterback without a bunch of past failures. He's not here to prove people wrong with boring post-game quotes. He's here because he never believed the doubts in the first place. And that, more than his stats, arm strength, or game smarts, is what makes him different. It's what makes him different from Pickett, who's still trying to shake off Pittsburgh's disappointment. It's what makes him different from Gabriel, who looks good, but hasn't proven it in the pros yet. And it's definitely what makes him different from Deshaun Watson, whose off-field troubles cast a shadow over the team's future, no matter how he plays. Shedeur? He's got none of that baggage, none of the drama, none of the scars from a frustrated fan base. That's why fans are starting to love him, like he's the next big thing. Every practice video on Twitter goes viral. Every perfect throw in drills gets a new YouTube highlight reel. Every time he walks out with that calm vibe, people tweet about him being the future quarterback. And here's the wild part. The Browns didn't plan for this. They drafted Shedeur to be a backup, a long shot, a kid with potential but some challenges. They didn't expect him to outwork everyone. They didn't expect him to win over the older players in the locker room. And they definitely didn't expect all this fan and media pressure. But it's here now, and it's not going away. When fans see a quarterback working extra hard, getting better every week, and not asking for special treatment, they get excited. And when media people like Cris Carter try to shut that story down, the fans push back fast. Carter's criticism didn't stick because it was honest. It stuck because it was lazy. Not NFL ready? Based on what? A guess? A grudge? A need to make the TV segment more exciting? While Carter was saying, "Wait your turn," Shedeur was earning his practice reps. While Carter laughed at his potential, Shedeur was studying film with the first team, practicing every play like it was a big game. And while other quarterbacks leaned on their draft status, Shedeur was changing the story, one perfect throw at a time. This is a comeback story, a chance to take back respect. And what makes it even cooler is how calmly Shedeur has handled it all. He could have argued back, posted shady quotes, or leaned into the drama, but he didn't. He stayed focused, stayed quiet, and stayed ready. And here's where the team comes in. Every team has a moment when the players start to feel a shift, when the guy leading the huddle feels like the real leader, even before the coaches say so. People say that moment has already happened in Cleveland. Veterans like Amari Cooper and Joel Bitonio have quietly said good things about Shedeur's calmness and attention to detail. Defensive backs say he makes throws in practice they didn't expect from him. Even coaches, who usually don't talk about who's moving up, have hinted that Shedeur is catching up fast. You can't fake that kind of progress. You can't fake respect. And most importantly, you can't stop a team from believing in a guy they trust. So here's the big question everyone's afraid to ask out loud. What happens if Shedeur keeps outplaying Pickett in preseason? What if Watson still looks unsure, hesitant, or even gets hurt? What if the Browns, desperate for something steady, start seeing Shedeur not as a future plan, but as the guy right now? Do they go with the hot hand? Do they take a chance on a fifth-rounder in a division with stars like Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson? Or do they stick to the plan and hope it works this time? It's a tough spot unless you just go with the chaos. Unless you stop thinking draft status equals talent. Unless you let go of old reputations. Unless you realize that sometimes the guy with the most to prove is exactly who you want leading your team.